Good evening. Welcome to Authentic Expressions. My name is Migekun. So, tonight we have a very interesting topic. It is called Chore Wars, turning household chores into harmony. We are very grateful for Laurel Ridge for sponsoring this program. Laurel Ridge is a behavioral health program that offers compassionate care for every stage of life. It provides personalized treatment for all populations. Their interest is to help you into your journey to wellness. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, veterans, first responders. They offer inpatient services, outpatient services, substance abuse treatment, residential treatment. Call 210-491-3591 for no-cost assessment. Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their mission is to save lives, heal families, and create hope. All right, let's see. Look forward to having you all show up. So at this point, looking for individuals to join in. So the topic again is Chore Wars, turning household chores into harmony. All right, hopefully we will have people show up. While waiting, I am going to read you a quote by Ronald Reagan. Peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. So how do you deal with conflict in harmonious ways in the home? So let's talk about that. Look forward to having some questions. So hopefully we will have individuals show up. All right. So no one has showed up yet. So while waiting, I am going to read you another quote by Hem Ginott. To take children seriously is to value them for who they are right now rather than adults in the making. So again, to take children seriously, it is to value them for who they are right now rather than adults in the making. Okay. So sorry. All right. So, what are some things that we want to think about when trying to build harmony with children? One of the key things to implement is to always find things that you can do together as a team. It is important to not focus on having individuals do things separately. The goal is to have you all do complete chores as a unit, as a family, because that makes it easier for children to complete the chores. When chores are divided, that's a great thing, but be sure that everybody is in the room. It is even better that you can do a chore together, be it folding clothes or putting clothes away. Because when people participate as a team, then the chore doesn't look as complex or as cumbersome or as complicated. So they're more likely to complete it when it is done as a team because there is accountability and it just takes a few minutes to get it done. Children struggle with chores because they do not know how to complete it, and then they feel like having to do it by themselves is quite laborious. So if you can create situations where you can function as a team, that would be an effective way to get things going and to finish chores easier. It is also important that you compliment them once they complete a chore. You compliment them for the efforts they put forth, and you compliment them for having a positive attitude. Many times children think of themselves in terms of from a negative framework. So if you can think of ways to complement their efforts and to be very specific and let them know what they did that you appreciate, that will really help them feel like they're part of a team. So Ham Ginot says, if you want your children to improve, let them overhear the nice things you say about them to other people. So it's important to let them hear the nice things you say about them to your neighbors, to their friends, parents, so to other people, so that it helps build their sense of who they are and it helps them participate more and become a better team member when you say nice things about them in their presence. And it's also important that you have eye contact with them whenever you say things that you appreciate about them, because then it's more meaningful, that it's more true to them, because they know that you meant it and you took their efforts seriously. Many times when parents compliment their children, they often think, oh, because you're my parents, you're required to. So, but when you have eye contact, it means that there is connection and that they appreciate the closeness that is fostered when there is eye contact and there is a deeper meaning to what you say to them. When you assign chores, be sure to make it a chore that they enjoy doing or that they selected. So it's important that you give them options. Many times they struggle with chores, and when they have an option and they have a choice in selecting the chore, then they are more likely to participate, more likely to complete it. So get them to give you input as to what works and what doesn't work. Get them to have discussions as a family, to have discussions about things that they can do to help improve the family functioning, to help improve the daily flow of the family. Children have creative ideas, so you want to tap into it and you want to help them feel like they're part of the family. So anytime you give them opportunity to voice their ideas, then they feel like they have a bigger part to play. And it improves their self-esteem when you take their ideas seriously. So it's always important to get their input. Learn to have regular conversation. It doesn't have to be weekly, but if you can do it every other week or every month, to have a sit down conversation about how things are working or not working. What do they want to see improve? What do they want to see taken away? One of the things that you can ask the family is, what is it that you want us to start doing? What is it that you want us to stop doing? And what is it that you want us to keep doing? Because these are all very important things to get the family flowing in the right direction. It doesn't always have to be a complaint session, but it can be a brainstorming. It can be a creative setting to voice ideas and to frolic, to bring out wild ideas about how the chores can be done. And so, if you can nurture these creative conversations, then they will be able to bring their creative side to the table. So, it's very important that you make these family meetings or make these conversations more interesting, more more fun, more creative, because people are attracted to humor. People are attracted to fun. So when you create an atmosphere where they can bring ideas, wild, boring ideas, wild ideas, creative ideas, different ideas, then they have the liberty to, voice their opinions and add to the discussion. So you want to use your time with your children to listen to them, but not to complain. Many times in the family forum, parents complain about what has not been done, what has not been completed, and some of the things they struggle with at school. That's not the time to complain about them. It is the time for you to build more conversations, build deeper conversations so that they can talk more about different ideas. They can talk more about friendships. They can talk more about relationships that work or doesn't, that they struggle with. So you want to get them into a habit of talking to you. Many times when you set the tone, it may take a while for children to open up. So when you have one or two meetings, you find that they are still tight-lipped. Don't be discouraged, but continue to keep doing it. Make the meeting shorter. Continue to keep doing it. Continue to have listening ears to understand. Continue to have listening ears to show compassion, to show empathy, because then they're more likely to share more. When you create a safe place for them to share, it helps them feel safe and it helps them feel like, okay, I can open up and not be judged or not be criticized. So children are sensitive. Teens are especially sensitive to criticism, to being told that their ideas are not are not in line with the main ideas. So they're very sensitive. Children and teens have a lot of creative ideas. So even when they have wild ideas, be sure to say things like, I like that idea. I would like to see, think about it. I would like to ponder upon it. So make sure that you reinforce whatever they can provide, whatever ideas they can provide. All right, Claudia, good to see you. Could you please provide an example how to create funnier, creative conversations about chores? That's a great question. So, out of the box ideas. So, remember to remind them, we have these 5 things to complete. I know all of them are very boring, all of them are things that are mundane. So, what ideas do you have that will help us do it in a short time together and to do it with fun? So, what out of the box ideas do you think we can do, together as a family? So, it could be that, they do the chore in their swimsuit and in preparation for going swimming after the task. So they can you'll get to select a theme. Like, okay, if we're gonna have pizza, so everybody think about bringing one topping. And then before that, what can we do? What is one thing of the 5 things? It's like the 5 chores. So, and then whatever you select, it goes with that topping. So you want to be creative. You want to nurture their ideas. It could be wild. It could be out of the box ideas. It could be impossible ideas. So think about ways to nurture that rather than complain about that. So I don't know if that helps, Claudia. Yes, all right, good. So I don't know the age of your children, but if there's a specific age, so there are specific things for children of different ages. With younger ages, you want to make things tasks that are simpler. And then you want to, another creative idea is to pair up the family members so that they can do it as a pair and you can have a competition. Whoever gets it done first get to select a movie for the evening. So create teamwork, create rewards like, whenever after we get done with the chore, then we get to go get ice cream. We get to go get our favorite dessert. So make it work, make it tie in some reinforcements here and there. And it doesn't have to be all the time, it could be some of the time. And it could be at the end of every month that we get to have a big reinforcement. It could be ice cream, it could be, you know, having lots of desserts or lots of different things that your children enjoy, that everybody get to pick a favorite dish and then have it all on the same evening. So if you can pair things up, with chores, then it will help them be motivated to complete them. So another motivational factor to think about is by Ham Ginott. He says, "I am the decisive element in the home. It is my personal approach that creates the climate." So remember, as a parent, you create the climate, you set the tone for a positive or a negative or a grinding experience in completing chores. So if you're positive, you're upbeat, and you are energizing them to be creative, then they're more likely to pitch in. They're more likely to look forward to doing it and then doing something else. So you can also ask, in being creative, you can also ask about, okay, what can we do together? And then what can we do after that to reward ourselves for, for pitching in, for doing such a good job. So nurture the input of each of your child. Young children have different ideas, they have great ideas. So, if you can nurture their ideas, and you may want to create such a system where each child gets to have their idea implemented every week so that then they feel like they're part of the family, that their decisions, their ideas are valued, and that it is practical. So think of different ways, out of the box ways, to make sure that every child is valued, every child get a voice and get a vote. A lot of parents do not tap into the resources of their children. They think that, because they're children, that their ideas are, impractical. But children have a lot of good ideas. Teenagers have wonderful ideas. So learn to tap into those and to nurture those ideas, to help them build creative ideas, to tap into that energy. Because when you nurture that and you appreciate what they add to their family, then they will be more willing to dig deeper into their creative side. Many times children are stifled in their growth because they have not been invited to think creatively, to think out of the box. In any situation, you want your children to always think out of the box. And if you model that, that is even better. Many times in the box thinking, staying within the guidelines of certain things may be very boring. So if you can add more color and more flavor to how you resolve issues, then you are creating a family that is fun to be to be with, that it is fun to be around. So make it your point to nurture creativity, to add color, to add spice, to add texture to your family functioning. When you say add texture, what does that mean? So it means to have different energy, not just a serious energy or a negative energy or a boring energy or a sterile energy where people go into their room, they seldom come out. So your job is to add different flavors so that, you know, in certain times we have a lot of humor, in certain times we are quiet, we are able to enjoy quiet activities. All right, Marianne Sanchez, good to see you. Good evening. This is Marianne. I'm married to a man who is not used to participate in household chores. I don't know how to ask for help when it's supposed to be a shared responsibility. All right, that's an excellent question. So, you want a partner, a spouse who is able to pitch in and help. So, the good thing is learn to have conversations. Good to see you, Victoria. So, learn to have conversations with your partner. Don't talk about the chores, talk about your struggles, talk about what you like to see happen. Talk about what is important to you. So if you talk about those and then you hear his point of view and understand it, don't hear it and try to change it. When you hear each other's point of views, understand what his reluctancy is about, and that may help you, help him feel help him support you. Many times men don't participate because they may have resentments, they may not see the value of certain things, or they think that it is unnecessary for us to do these chores repeatedly. So you want to understand their values, what drives them, what is important to them. Are they looking for more quality time with you rather than chores? Do they want you to sit with him instead of just focusing on chores day in and day out? So have conversations to understand it, to hear the resistance. Then they will feel like, okay, when you hear me, then I'm more willing to participate. So many times there are hidden emotions surrounding resistance. So go in to understand that more. And so hopefully when they feel heard, they will be more willing to participate. All right, Victoria, good to see you. So how do you establish healthy boundaries when when your family is always dependent on you? That's an excellent question. So how do you establish healthy boundaries? So in talking about boundaries, so let's step back. So before boundaries, you might want to think about the concept of respect. How do you respect yourself so that you can do things so that you can set up the tone where things are balanced? So think about what you need first for you. So put the horse in front of the cart. So what is important to you? Like you want to respect yourself. You want to be able to do things that that is your part, but you also want to set up the environment so that people can pitch in, so that you can express yourself and share what is important to you and what you like for people to do to help pitch in rather than to jump in to do things when it's not done immediately. So, what are you doing to respect yourself? What are you doing to set the tone so that you're not constantly pitching in? You're not constantly um, doing things for other family members. Because if you set the habit of doing things because you are anxious or because you're tired that other people will not do it, so you always end up doing it, then they go, okay, if I don't do it long enough, my mother will always do it, my wife will always do it. So when things are not done, have a conversation and talk about what's important to you rather than harbor resentments or do it and then harbor resentments. It is important that you respect what is it that you want to do and what is it that you want support with. So have those conversations. And when you have conversations, make sure that you have honest conversations. Make sure that the conversation is not about blaming the other person, but the conversation is about what you would like to see happen. Like, it's very important to me that we do this as a team, that we do it as a partner, we do it together. It helps me when I get support. So when you pitch in to help me out, I feel very encouraged. So focus on what you like, focus on what is important to you rather than complain about what they are not doing. Because people tend to put up their guard when complaint shows up. But when you spend time telling them what you appreciate, then they're more likely to help you. So learn to also set healthy guidelines. Have conversation and say, how can we make this happen? How can we make this work? How can we work together as a team? So conversations are to focus on forward moving steps rather than have paragraphs over paragraphs of complaint about what they have not done and what they have done wrongly. I hope that helps, Victoria. Okay, great, great. All right, I am going to read a quote by Ham Ginott. He is a child psychologist. So he says, give children a voice and a choice in matters that affect their lives. More autonomy means less enmity. So give children choices, give teenagers choices. As adults, we like choices. So so do the same expectation with your children because we all like choices. All right, let me read one more quote. So, in all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis will be escalated or de escalated. So, how you respond at home sets the tone. So, I hope you continue to think about how you can create an atmosphere of collaboration. So, a closing reminder, have family conversations regarding what they would like to start doing. Sorry, what they would like to stop doing, keep doing, and start doing. So regularly have these conversations so that they can tell you what is important to them. All right, next week we have the topic of from bottle up to open up, breaking the silence within. Be sure to bring a friend. So we are grateful for Laurel Ridge for sponsoring this program. They offer personalized treatment for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, veterans, and first responders. Be sure to call 210-491-3591. Have an awesome rest of your evening and look forward to seeing you next week.